My brother used my medical license number on a clinic form without asking me. Not as an emergency contact, not as a reference, not as someone who might stop by once in a while to give advice. He listed me as the supervising clinician. I found out because a woman I had never met emailed me at 2:13 in the morning and said, "We are excited to have you overseeing patient safety for the grand opening." I stared at my phone in the dark for almost a full minute before I understood what I was reading. At 8:06 that same morning, my mother called and said, "Please do not make this a whole thing. Your brother is finally trying." At 8:14, my father texted, "Fix it quietly, family first." I did not yell. I did not drive across town. I did not argue with people who had spent 37 years treating my boundaries like temporary traffic cones. I sent one email. By noon, my brother's clinic had a locked front door, a state inspector in the lobby, and 6 investors asking why my name was on paperwork I had never signed. My name is Elena Reyes. I am 39 years old, and I have been a registered nurse for 16 years. Most of that time has been in oncology infusion, which means I spend my days checking medication labels 3 times, watching for reactions in people's faces before machines notice, and explaining scary things in a voice calm enough that no one panics. Licenses are not decorative. They are not badges you let your family borrow for just one form. A license is 16 years of night shifts, continuing education, fingerprinting, background checks, chart audits, medication math, and the kind of responsibility that follows you home even when your shoes are still squeaking with hospital disinfectant. My brother, Tyler, has never understood responsibility that did not come with applause. Tyler is 34. He is charming in the way people call charming when they do not have to clean up after him. He is tall, loud, and gifted at sounding like a man 3 months away from success. He has been 3 months away from success since he was 19. There was the meal prep company that lasted until his freezer died because he forgot to pay the electric bill. There was the mobile car detailing business where he ruined a lawyer's leather seats and called it a materials misunderstanding. There was the sneaker resale group, Chat, the crypto course, the fitness app, the imported coffee thing, and a podcast called Built Different, which ended after 2 episodes because Tyler said the microphone was limiting his energy. My parents called all of it ambition. When I worked doubles to pay my own rent during nursing school, that was being practical. When Tyler lost $3,000 on branded water bottles, that was learning business. My mother, Rosa, has always believed Tyler was special because he needed so much protecting. My father, Miguel, is quieter, but he has the same disease. He would sigh and say, "Your brother just needs one clean chance," as if clean chances were a utility bill I had forgotten to send him. I was the steady one. Steady means you get asked to co-sign. Steady means you drive someone to court and sit in the hallway pretending you are not embarrassed. Steady means your mother calls you during your lunch break and says, "Can you just talk to him?" He listens to you, even though he has never listened to you in his life. 3 months before the email, Tyler announced he was opening a wellness clinic. He said it over Sunny dinner at his parents' apartment, while my mother slid extra rice onto his plate like he had returned from war instead of a branding meeting. "It is not a spa," Tyler said before anyone had used the word spa. "It is clinical wellness, preventive health, IV hydration, vitamin shots, recovery therapy. People pay a lot of money to feel optimized." My father nodded like Tyler had just discovered penicillin. I kept eating because I had worked 12 hours and did not have enough spare soul to wrestle with the phrase "feel optimized." Then Tyler turned to me. "Actually, Elena, I wanted to pick your brain." That was the first warning sign. In my family, pick your brain usually meant use your labor without paying you, and then call you unsupportive when you notice. About what? Clinical flow, basic compliance, how you set up intake, nothing crazy. Hire a consultant. He laughed. "Why would I do that when my sister is literally a nurse? Because your sister is literally tired." My mother gave me the look, the one that said, "Do not embarrass him." Tyler smiled wider. "Come on, it is one conversation. One conversation, I said, is not oversight. He held up both hands. Nobody is asking for oversight. My father cleared his throat. He just needs guidance, Mia. Guidance is, do not open a clinic without proper clinical leadership. Tyler's smile thinned for half a second, then came back polished. I have people for that, then ask them. The table went quiet in that family way, where everyone waits for the woman who said no to soften. I did not soften. I had spent enough years in hospitals to understand that when someone says nothing crazy about medical paperwork, crazy is already in the building. 2 weeks later, Tyler texted me a photo of a lobby under construction. White walls, fake plants, gold logo, a neon sign that said "Restore your best, Felfun." He wrote, "Proud of me yet?" I typed, "Is your medical director confirmed?" He wrote back, "Always so negative, LL." That was the second warning sign. The third came from my cousin Maribel. Maribel is not dramatic. She is a dental hygienist with 3 kids, 2 dogs, and the emotional range of a spreadsheet, which is why I trust her more than most people in my family. She called me on a Thursday afternoon while I was in the grocery store buying eggs and laundry detergent. "Are you working with Tyler?" she asked. No silence. I stopped in front of the cereal aisle. Why? Because he told Tia Rosa you were helping with the clinical side. He said I answered a few questions. No, Maribel said. He said your license was attached. The store got very loud and very far away at the same time. Attached how? I do not know. That is why I am calling you. My neighbor went to his soft launch. She said there was a binder at the front desk with names in it. Yours was on the top page. I left my cart in front of the oatmeal and walked outside. Did she take a picture? I can ask. Ask now. 8 minutes later, my phone buzzed. The photo was blurry, taken fast. Maybe because the person holding the phone knew she was looking at something she was not supposed to see. But it was clear enough. Brightwell Wellness Clinic, Clinical Compliance Packet, Supervising Clinician, Elena Reyes, RN. License number, there it was, signature, not mine. It is strange what your brain notices first when something serious happens. Not the fraud, not the risk, not even the fear. I noticed the signature was too round. My real signature is ugly because I have signed thousands of medication records while standing at counters too high for me. His fake Elena looked like she dotted her eyes with little hearts. I zoomed in until the letters blurred. Then I screenshot everything, emailed it to myself, uploaded it to a cloud folder, and called Tyler. He did not answer. I called again, no answer. Then I texted, "Why is my license number on your clinic paperwork?" The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, "Can you not spiral? It is placeholder paperwork." Placeholder paperwork. That was the phrase he chose for forged clinical supervision. I wrote, "Remove my name immediately and send me proof." He wrote, "I am with investors right now. Do not do this today." I looked at that message for a long moment. Do not do this today. Not "I am sorry." Not "I should not have used your license." Not "I understand this could destroy everything you worked for." Do not inconvenience the people giving him money. I called my parents. My mother answered on the second ring, which meant she had been waiting. "Elena," she said, already tired of my reaction before I had one. "Did you know Tyler put my license number on clinic paperwork?" My mother exhaled. "He said it was just preliminary." "Did you know?" He needed a clinical name while the doctor contract finalized. There it was. Not confusion, not surprise. Translation, yes. "Mom," he forged my signature. He copied it from somewhere. I am not saying that was right. You are saying it like he borrowed a charger. Do not use that tone with me. I almost laughed. My tone was apparently more offensive than medical fraud. My father came on the line. They were on speaker. "Listen," he said, "you are upset. That is understandable. But your brother has put everything into this. He put my name into it. Because people trust you." The sentence made something cold settle behind my ribs. Because people trust you. They heard themselves say it and still did not hear the problem. "That trust is mine," I said, "not his." My mother lowered her voice. "Please, just fix it quietly. Tell him what to change. Help him make it right. If you report this, he could lose the clinic. If I do not report this, I could lose my license. Nobody is going to lose anything. I said, you do not know that. My father said, family first. There are two kinds of silence after a sentence like that. The old silence where I would swallow my anger and start solving a problem someone else created. And the new silence where I let the sentence show me who they were asking me to betray. I chose the new one. No, I said. Patient safety first, my license second. Tyler's feelings are somewhere below the fake plant budget. My mother gasped like I had slapped the Eucharist out of her hand. Elena, tell Tyler he has 1 hour to send me written confirmation that my name has been removed from every document, every digital account, every investor packet, and every vendor file. You are threatening your brother. I am informing him of a deadline. I hung up. Then I did what nurses do when panic is not useful. I documented. I made a folder called Brightwell. I saved the photo from Maribel's neighbor. I saved a screenshot of my call log. I wrote a timeline while the details were still fresh. I logged into the state licensing portal and checked my public profile. There were no disciplinary notes, no employer change, nothing obvious. Then I checked the email attached to my license. At first, nothing. Then at 2:13 in the morning, the email arrived. It came from a woman named Priya Shah at North Star Medical Risk Partners. Subject: Brightwell Wellness, Clinical Director Confirmation. Dear Ms. Reyes, we are excited to have you overseeing patient safety for the grand opening. Please confirm the attached professional liability addendum and standing order review by Friday. Attached professional liability addendum. Standing order review. My hands went numb. I opened the attachment. My name appeared 6 times. Clinical Director. Supervising Clinician. Responsible License Holder. Signature. Signature. There are moments in life when rage becomes too organized to look like rage anymore. Mine put on glasses, made coffee, and printed PDFs. I did not sleep. At 6:40, I called my friend Diane. Diane is a nurse practitioner and the kind of person who reads policy manuals for fun. We worked together for 8 years before she moved into compliance. She answered with, "Someone better be dying." My brother forged my signature on a clinic liability packet. She was quiet for exactly 1 second. Forward it to me. By 7:05, Diane had called back. Do not call him again, she said. Do not advise him. Do not tell him what to fix. Do not let him frame you as involved. That bad? Elena. I sat down. She continued, slower. You need to notify the insurer, the state board, and whoever is listed as the clinic's medical director. You need to say you are not affiliated, never consented, and the signature is not yours. You are not asking them to punish him. You are protecting your license. My parents want me to fix it quietly. Diane made a sound I can only describe as professional disgust. Quiet is how people get away with using your name until something goes wrong and a patient sues everyone on the letterhead. I wrote that down. At 8:06, my mother called. I did not answer. At 8:07, she called again. At 8:09, Tyler texted, "Can you chill? I am handling it." At 8:11, "You do not understand business timelines." At 8:14, my father texted, "Fix it quietly, family first." I looked at those 3 words. Family first. For most of my life, family first meant Elena last. Elena works Thanksgiving because Tyler has plans. Elena pays the car insurance because Tyler needs transportation to interviews he never attends. Elena talks to the landlord because Tyler gets emotional with authority. Elena knows medical things, so Elena can lend medical credibility. I opened a blank email. To Priya Shah at North Star Medical Risk Partners. CC. The State Board Nursing Compliance Address, the Brightwell Public Contact Email, the physician whose name appeared in one small box at the bottom of the form, and my own personal email. Subject: Unauthorized use of license number and forged signature, Elena Reyes, RN. I kept the email short. I wrote, I am Elena Reyes, RN, license number ending in 4T812. I am not affiliated with Brightwell Wellness Clinic in any clinical, supervisory, advisory, employment, investor, or volunteer capacity. I did not authorize any use of my name's license number, signature, or professional credentials on any Brightwell document. Any signature appearing under my name is not mine. Attached are the documents sent to me, a photograph of the front desk compliance packet, and text messages from Elena Reyes acknowledging the paperwork as Hawthaler. Please place an immediate fraud hold or review flag on any policy, credentialing, standing order, vendor, or clinic file using my credentials. I am available to provide a sworn statement if needed. Then I added one final sentence. For patient safety and license protection, I am requesting written confirmation that my name and license number have been removed from all Brightwell materials. I read it twice. I did not mention betrayal. I did not mention my mother. I did not say my brother had always been like this. Receipts do not need adjectives. I hit send at 8:32. At 8:47, Priya replied, "Received. We are escalating immediately. Do not communicate with Brightwell representatives regarding this matter until contacted by our review team." At 9:03, the physician replied, "I have never agreed to serve as medical director for Brightwell. Please include me in all correspondence." I stared at that email. Then I laughed once, very softly, because apparently Tyler's compliance plan was just a wall of borrowed adults. At 9:22, my phone rang. Tyler. I let it go to voicemail. Then my mother, then Tyler, then my father, then Tyler again. By 10:10, I had 18 missed calls and a text from Tyler that said, "What did you do?" At 10:18, investors are freaking out. At 10:23, you emailed the board. Are you insane? At 10:31, call me before you ruin my life. I made oatmeal. It tasted like cardboard, but it gave me something to do with my hands. At 11:06, Diane texted, "Do not answer family calls, screenshot everything." At 11:48, Maribel called. "Did you hear?" "Hear what?" "Tyler's clinic is locked." I closed my eyes. Locked how? Like people standing outside locked. My neighbor drove by because she is nosy in a helpful way. There is a printed notice on the door. Some woman with a clipboard is inside. Tyler is in the parking lot waving his arms. That is how I learned the state inspector had arrived before lunch. Not because I demanded it. Not because I pulled strings. Because when a clinic preparing to put needles in people has two fake supervising clinicians on its paperwork, responsible agencies tend to become interested. At 12:04, Tyler left a voicemail. I still have it. His voice started low, like he was trying to sound wounded instead of furious. "Elena, I need you to call me right now. You have no idea what you just triggered." This was a clerical thing. We were going to update the forms before opening. "You sent a nuclear email over a clerical thing." Then his voice cracked into the real Tyler. "Do you know how much money is on the line? Do you know what Mom and Dad put up for this? Call me." What Mom and Dad put up, that was new. I called Maribel back. "Did my parents invest in this?" She sighed. "I thought you knew." "How much?" "I do not know numbers. I heard they pulled from the retirement account." I sat very still. My parents, who had asked me for $300 2 months earlier because my father's dental crown could not wait, had pulled money from retirement for Tyler's clinic. Not because he was qualified. Because he was finally trying. At 12:32, my mother came to my apartment. I saw her through the peephole holding her purse against her chest like a shield. My father stood behind her, jaw tight, phone in hand. Tyler was not with them. I opened the door with the chain on. My mother looked offended by the chain, which told me she understood less than nothing. "Elena," she said, "let us in." "No." My father's eyebrows lifted. "We are your parents." "Then talk like it." My mother pressed her lips together. "You need to call whoever you emailed and tell them this was a misunderstanding." It was not. Tyler says they were template forms. Tyler forged my signature on a liability addendum. He was going to fix it before anyone got hurt. I looked at her. "That is the first honest thing you have said." Her face changed because she heard it too late. "Before anyone got hurt." There it was, the thing they kept stepping around. My father said no one was hurt because someone stopped it. You embarrassed him. He attached my license to a clinic without consent. He is your brother. I am a nurse. The hallway went quiet. My mother started crying then. Not loud crying. The soft kind she used when she wanted me to become useful. We could lose our money. How much money? My father looked away. How much? My mother whispered, $40,000. $40,000. My parents had $40,000 for Tyler's lobby plants and gold logo. But when my air conditioner died the previous summer, my mother told me, everyone is struggling. I am not proud of what I said next, but I do not regret it. So the retirement account had room for fraud. My father stepped forward, and the chain tightened. Do not talk to your mother like that. Do not come to my door asking me to cover a crime like it is a casserole. My mother flinched. Crime is a big word. So is license. My father said, if you love this family, you would help us fix this. I did fix it. You know what I mean? Yes, I said. You mean hide it? Neither of them answered. That was the thing about my family. They could argue with accusations all day. Silence was harder, because silence showed the shape of what they wanted. I said, I will talk to the board. I will answer every question honestly. I will not lie. I will not retract. I will not say I gave permission. My mother wiped her face. You are choosing your job over us. No. I am choosing every patient who would have walked into that clinic thinking a licensed professional was responsible for what happened to them. My father said, do not make yourself a saint. I am not a saint. I am documented. I closed the door. For the next week, my phone became a tiny courtroom. Tyler sent voice notes, then deleted them, not realizing I had already saved the notification previews. My mother texted prayers with no apology attached. My father sent one long message about loyalty and family sacrifice that used the word betrayal 5 times and the word forged 0 times. Tyler's investors started calling me from blocked numbers. I did not answer. North Star Medical Risk Partners sent a formal letter stating they had suspended all Brightwell underwriting pending investigation. The state board assigned an investigator named Ms. Caldwell, who had the calm, terrifying voice of someone who alphabetizes evidence for pleasure. She interviewed me by video call. I had my timeline ready. I had the attachments in order. I had every screenshot labeled with dates. At the end, she said, Mrs. Reyes, based on what you have provided, we are opening this as an unauthorized use of credentials complaint. At this time, you are not the subject of disciplinary review. At this time. Those 3 words stayed with me. Because even when you do the right thing, someone else's lie can still drag you close enough to the fire to smell smoke. Tyler did not think about that. He thought about his sign. 3 days after the clinic was locked, he posted online, some people hate seeing you build. Keep going. My mother liked it. Maribel sent me a screenshot and wrote, I want to fight everyone. I wrote back, hydrate first. Small jokes keep you human when your family is acting like a lawsuit in matching sweaters. On day 8, Tyler came to the hospital. He waited near the employee entrance because security would not let him into my unit. I saw him from across the parking lot as I finished my shift. He was leaning against his car wearing a blazer over a t-shirt that said founder. Founder of what, I did not know. A locked door, mostly. I considered going back inside, but I was too tired to let him make me hide at my own workplace. You cannot show up here, I said. He held up his hands. I just want to talk. Email me. That is hilarious. No, Tyler, it is traceable. His face hardened. Do you have any idea what you did? Yes, I had investors. You had forged signatures. It was temporary. My license is not a folding chair. He stared at me like he could not decide whether to yell or charm. Charm won first. Lena, he said, using the nickname he only used when he wanted something. Come on, you know me. I was not trying to hurt you. You were willing to risk me. That is not the same thing. It is to the person being risked. He looked away. For a second, I saw the scared little brother under all the founder nonsense. I saw the boy who cried when he lost at board games and the teenager my mother excused because he feels things deeply. I saw how easy it would be to soften. Then he said, "If you had just helped me in the first place, I would not have needed to improvise." There he was. My softness packed its bag and left. "You forged my signature because I said no. You always say no." "Not always, just more often than you can survive." His mouth opened, then closed. "I am going to lose everything." "No," I said. "You are losing what you tried to build on my name." He stepped closer. "Mom is not sleeping." Neither was I when I thought my license had been stolen. "Dad says you are dead to him if this goes legal." "Tell Dad to put that in writing. He likes family documents now." That was cruel. I know it was. But sometimes the thing that sounds cruel is just the first sentence you have said, without bending it around someone else's comfort. Tyler's eyes went flat. "You think you are better than us because you have letters after your name." "No. I think letters after my name come with rules. You destroyed your own family over paperwork." "No," I said. "I protected my patients, my license, and my name." He shook his head. "You will regret this." "Maybe," I said, "but I will regret it with my license active." I walked past him into the parking garage. My hand shook so badly I dropped my keys twice. People like Tyler think calm means unbothered. It does not. Calm is often just panic with discipline. The investigation took 4 months. During that time, my parents tried every door back into my life except accountability. My mother left a voicemail saying she missed me at Sunday dinner, then spent the last 20 seconds explaining that Tyler had been under extraordinary pressure. My father mailed me a birthday card with no money inside, which would have been fine, except he wrote, "Family is more important than being right." I taped the card into my evidence folder because apparently he wanted to contribute. Maribel told me the clinic lease was terminated after the landlord received notice that Brightwell's insurance had been suspended. The investors pulled out. One of them was a retired dentist who, according to Maribel's neighbor, stood in the parking lot yelling, "I asked you 3 times who the clinician was." I do not enjoy anyone losing money. But I do believe adults should lose money before strangers lose blood pressure in a fake clinic under my name. The board eventually sent me a letter. No disciplinary action against Elena Reyes, RN. Unauthorized use of credentials substantiated, referred to appropriate agencies. I read it in my kitchen at 6:12 on a Tuesday evening, still wearing scrubs, standing beside a sink full of spoons, because I had been too exhausted to load the dishwasher properly. I read it 3 times. Then I sat on the floor and cried, not because I was sad. Because I had been carrying my family's emergency like a backpack full of bricks, and for once, someone official had written down that the bricks were not mine. 2 weeks later, Tyler called from an unknown number. I answered because I was waiting for a pharmacy callback. "Before you hang up," he said, "I need you to know something." I almost ended the call anyway. Then he said, "Mom and Dad are selling the condo." I leaned against the counter. "Why? Because of me," he said. There was no joke in his voice, no polish, no founder energy. "They used the home equity line." I closed my eyes. 40,000 had not been 40,000. How much? Enough. That was as close as Tyler ever came to shame. Then he ruined it. "If you wrote a letter saying you do not want charges, it might help." I opened my eyes. There it was, the apology shaped like a hook. "Tyler, what?" "I am sorry Mom and Dad gambled their home on you." He went quiet. "But I am not going to lie to save the business you built with my stolen credentials." "You really can just watch them lose everything?" "I watched them risk everything. There is a difference." He said nothing. I said, "Do not call me from unknown numbers again." Then I hung up. My parents did not sell the condo. Not then. My aunt finally stepped in and helped them refinance into something less insane, which is a sentence I still do not fully understand because family finances are where logic goes to take a nap. Tyler moved out of state for a while. He posted about a fresh start, then a private men's leadership retreat, then something involving supplements. I blocked him after the supplements. My mother sent me one letter. It was 3 pages long. The first page was about how scared she had been. The second page was about how hard Tyler's life had become. The third page finally said, "We should not have asked you to carry this." Not "I am sorry he forged your name," not "we were wrong," but one sentence facing the correct direction. I kept the letter. I did not answer it right away. Boundaries are not doors you slam once. They are locks you check every night until your hands learn the shape of peace. 6 months after that first email, I renewed my license. The portal asked me the usual questions: address, continuing education, practice hours, disciplinary disclosures. I clicked through slowly. When the confirmation appeared, I took a screenshot and saved it in a folder that was not called Brightwell. It was called Mine. That weekend, I went to dinner with Diane and Maribel. We sat at a small Korean barbecue place where the table got too hot and Maribel kept dropping lettuce into her lap. Diane raised her glass and said, "To traceable communication." We laughed harder than the joke deserved. But I think that is what relief does. It makes ordinary things feel generous. My parents still tell people I overreacted. Tyler tells people compliance killed his clinic. Maybe that is easier for them than saying the truth out loud. The truth is simple. He used my license number. He forged my signature. They told me to fix it quietly. So I did the quietest thing I could think of. I wrote one email. No screaming, no scene, no family meeting where everyone voted on whether I was allowed to protect myself. Just one email with attachments. People think revenge is loud. Sometimes it is not. Sometimes revenge is a subject line. Sometimes it is a PDF. Sometimes it is refusing to let people turn your name into a bridge they can walk across, and then blame you when it collapses. I still work oncology infusion. I still check labels 3 times. I still explain scary things in a calm voice. I still believe people deserve care from professionals who actually agreed to be responsible for that care. And when my family says I should have handled it privately, I remember what Diane told me. Quiet is how people get away with using your name. Documentation is how you get it back. Did I go too far or not far enough?